Hi, welcome to the Personal Finance and Coffee Podcast. Today we're having our June monthly reset. Yes, they're coming back. In today's episode, I wanted to go through one, why I'm bringing them back, one, why I'd stopped initially, then two, what is no longer working for me and what is still working, and three, I would like to also get into why they're important, the relationship between the monthly reset and our finances, which is what we talk about on this podcast. Those are the three things we're going to get into today. The first one, why I stopped. When I would do the monthly resets, I have a playlist that has them. I would get into my budgeting process, my reflections and planning. But the truth is, I'm doing the same things at the end of every month. So I stopped because it felt very repetitive. You know, when you keep talking about the same thing over and over again, I started to wonder if it's actually valuable, because if a person watched the last three and now they're watching this one, you know what I mean? It's like nothing much has changed. That is why I stopped initially. Now, this is why I'm bringing them back. First of all, my intention for bringing them back is hopefully when they come out, there will be a reminder to you as well that, you can have a monthly reset now. And two, the monthly resets change every now and then. Some things stop working, seasons of life change. I thought maybe it would be valuable that over time, sharing with you how it changes, what used to work and is no longer working. You can pick ideas from that as well. So it will be, the general format will be repetitive. I think there's still value even in the repetitive nature, because the truth is, whether I come here and share with you about it or I don't, I still do the monthly reset because I cannot do without it. It's what puts everything together for me. So if I'm already going to do it, maybe I can come here and share it with you and it will be of value. So that is why I'm bringing them back. The second thing is that what used to work and what no longer works. When I make these monthly resets, at the time I had a notebook where I had my planner, and I would set up like the monthly calendar and the daily pages, and like in pencil I would write, okay, on this day this is coming up or that is coming up. For some reason this year, that system, for the first 4 months of the year, I wasn't in that system. I wasn't tracking my time. I was just existing, You wake up, go to work, come home. Yet previously, I had my tracker that was like a weekly spread. So I would write how I spent my time, and I would write it in categories. So I would have how much time did I spend sleeping, how much time did I spend with the family, on my personal things, at the office, running errands, on my side hustle. And it sounds like it's a tedious process, but you'll be surprised that it takes you 2 seconds or 1 minute, okay, fine, to just write down a few words of what you did. Now, it worked for me for 2 years, but this year, I just didn't feel like doing it. So I dropped it for the past 4 months. That I was not doing. I was not tracking any time. And I've just picked it up again, and I'm trying to start the habit again. What I learned from stopping it, when it comes to tracking how I spend the time, it seems strange, but when I write where I spend my time, I'm more aware of, I've spent less time with family, or I'm not working on my side hustle. But when I'm not writing, the day passes, the week passes. So I found value in it by stopping it. That's one of the things that has changed. Now, that's the main one. The rest are the same, which is what I'm going to get into. I still do the budgeting, my cash envelopes, the bulk grocery shopping. All those other things are pretty much the same. In today's episode, I'm not going to get into my checklist. You can look at the playlist that I'm going to have linked. In today's episode, I'm kind of bringing it back, and I wanted to go through these 3 general points. Now, that is what used to work, what I learned by stopping it. Third and the final thing that I wanted to get into, why is this monthly reset important? And the relationship between the monthly reset and our finances. When you sit down to make your goal, you're thinking big picture, in terms of whatever your big goal is. The steps that you take towards that goal, especially if you are a monthly income earner, happen on a monthly basis. Even those that don't earn on a monthly basis, there are generally bills that come in on a monthly basis. regardless of whether you earn every day, every week, the bills come in on a monthly basis. And these bills affect the progress you make towards the goals that you have, if that makes sense. Now, when you've made your big goal of this is where I'm going, it is on this monthly basis that you pause and ask yourself, what steps am I taking in the upcoming month? Or how far have I gone? Especially when it comes to the financial resources. For example, if you earn your salary on a monthly basis, it's at this point of the monthly reset that you now say, okay, I've received this salary, or the salary is going to come in a few days. How much am I going to put towards the bills, towards the goals that I have? That is when you take the actual steps. If your goal is to save a certain amount by the end of the year, you have to move the money each month. And if for whatever reason, the money isn't there this month, you can say, okay, this month, because of ABCD, I had a sickness, we had an emergency, I don't have the money, I will do better next month. Then you're aware why it hasn't worked. And then next month, you're able to put the money aside for that goal. But all these decisions happen on a monthly basis. And that is why looking at having a monthly reset or a time to pause, because you guys, life can just be on like 2x speed. Somehow you're so busy. By the time the day ends, you're so exhausted. And the last thing you want to do is you just want to chill. You know what I mean? And then you have maybe weekend plans, you have weddings, or you have a friend get together, or you're just staying at home and you have a lot of housework. Depending on what your setup is, you blink and the month is done. So stepping out of this marathon to pause and look at the financial picture and where you're going is very, very important. Because otherwise you're going to blink and the year has ended. I'm telling you, usually when it comes to setting this time, pick a day, pick a time, and a location. If you're going to have it at home, if you're going to have it in office, if you're going to go to a cafe or a restaurant, pick the day, pick the time, and pick the location. Having this monthly reset affects our finances is because different months have different obligations. When it comes to birthdays, weddings, events, maybe medical bills or checkups, maybe emergencies that come up in the previous month, how they're affecting the upcoming month. Different months have different financial obligations. When you pause at the start of the month and you're able to say, okay, next month, I have this birthday, I have this wedding, I have this introduction. What does this mean in terms of my finances? The temptation usually is, everything is overwhelming. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So we end up being reactive. What does that mean? You're either borrowing money to fulfill the obligations, or you're picking from your savings. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then at the end of the year, you're frustrated because you're just saying, we shall cross that bridge when we get there. The relationship between the monthly reset and the finances is that you're able to look at the upcoming commitments that are not the usual, that you're able to look at and say, this is what I would like to do for these events. Interestingly, you can also look at the upcoming events and you say, for this and this and this, I will not commit myself because when I look at my numbers, it does not fit in. And yet, if you're in this rush of life and you're feeling obliged, you're feeling like, how do I say no? You're feeling like what will people think? They probably feel like I can afford. But in this season, there's something else you're working towards. It's okay to say no. And being able to say no with confidence can happen after you've looked at the picture of your whole month. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, that is another way to look at the relationship between the monthly reset and your finances. Now, the final thing that I would like to talk about is that this process of creating your monthly reset will change. You will learn things along the way and add them, and then they won't work, and then they will work. Do you get what I mean? Starting the process of making it a habit is the most important thing. Whether you start with 2 steps or you start with one step and you do it consistently for 3 months, then you add another step. And maybe the step you started with, for example, you can say, I'm going to start with budgeting in my notebook and allocating my finances. You know what I mean? Then that very one step can keep changing. You're like, okay, the notebook is not working. Maybe I use Excel. But if you're consistent with that one step, over time you will find that you'll find what works for you. Then you add another step. The most important thing is to start trying different versions and not to feel like I'll never get there. It's overwhelming. You just do step by step. And then this is the most interesting thing. Something can work for 2-3 years and suddenly your life situation changes and it's not working anymore. And then you're back to the beginning of rebuilding the habit and the steps. So starting this process and being aware that it's an ongoing changing process depending on where you're at. The most important thing is being committed to trying to build the habit. Yeah, so if those are my thoughts when it comes to monthly reset. And for this month of June, as of this recording, I've already done my monthly reset. For me, what the non-negotiables, the things that don't change. 1, budgeting. How much am I expecting to come in? How are the bills being paid? 2, if the money has arrived, making the payments and cash envelopes, which I've talked about. I'll leave all those linked in the descriptions. 3, buying the home groceries in bulk. When I say in bulk, I don't mean like 25 kgs of rice and a box of soap. No. When I say buying in bulk, my definition of buying in bulk for the month, I'm referring to if we use 4 bars of soap in a month, I'll buy 4 bars of soap, 4 kgs of rice, 4 kgs of sugar. So that is what I refer to as bulk grocery shopping, because sometimes people feel overwhelmed and they're like, I can't afford to buy all that at once. But anyway, that is my definition: the budgeting, cash envelopes, bulk grocery shopping, and closing out the previous month is budget and the numbers, checking on, have I made progress towards the financial goals I set? Did I overspend? What happened? General reflections. So in this season, that's what I've been doing. I've not been planning a lot in terms of, like I told you, that wasn't working. So I've not been planning for the upcoming month as much. I've just been doing those things. But over time, as they come up, as I keep changing, as I have the capacity to do more, I'll keep sharing as the months come up. But those have been my 4 things. Yeah. So please share with me in the comments. Have you tried this before? If you've listened to my previous episodes, how has it gone in terms of monthly resets? Do you have any questions? What is working for you? I look forward to reading your comments and let's have this conversation about monthly resets. Yeah. Thank you for listening. You can like, subscribe, share with all your people, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.